Hi guys, it's Dave here from Poolset. Today I'm going to show you how to install and operate our Salt Smart series saltwater chlorinator. Like all our Poolset equipment, great quality product at a great value price. The first thing you need to do is choose the right size chlorinator. We have 3 sizes in the range: a small, a medium and a large. The small is a 20 gram per hour chlorine generator, the medium is a 30 gram, the large is a 40 gram. Basically, pools up to 75,000 litres we use the small, up to 100,000 litres we use the medium, and up to 125,000 litres use the large. Make sure that your salt level in your pool is between 3,000 and 4,000 parts per million. Let's have a look what's in the box. We've got a control box, the cell, pipe unions for 50mm and 40mm pipes, you choose, reducers, a flow switch, instruction manual, screws and O-rings. What you'll need is a hacksaw, a marker, primer and PVC cement. You'll also need a measuring tape. So now we need to glue in the cell and the flow switch. The cell and the flow switch should always be the last thing on your line. We have in our system, we have our pump, then our filter. You may have a heater, which would go next. So we need to measure out for the cell 37 centimetres to cut. So I've measured here 37 centimetres, and now we need to cut. What we need to do is get these cuffs off. Put the flat end outwards on both sides. Then we need to use the smaller, because we have 40mm pipes. These will go on here. And then the cell. This is the flow of the water. The cord should always start at the beginning. The next step is installing and plumbing in the flow switch. The flow switch needs to be plumbed in before the cell. When there is water running, it turns on the cell. You'll need to cut out 12 centimetres for the cell, and there should be some pipe straight before the cell here, roughly 20 to 30 centimetres. So we line up 12 centimetres to cut out, and then make our cut. For our flow switch, we need to put in, because our pipes are 40mm, some reducing bushes. 1, 2. Then there's an arrow for the flow of water going this way. So from the pump and then out. So now we need to prime and glue all the cuffs and joins to the hose. So we get the primer first and just smear some on the inside and let it dry, and also on the outside of the pipe. Then get the cement. Again, on the inside of the pipe. Union. On the outside of the pipe. Make sure it's smeared all around. And you'll need to screw it on and hold while that dries. You'll need to do the same for each pipe join. Okay, the next step is to mount your control box. So here we have 2 screws. Use the screws provided in the box, 19 centimeters apart. Make sure that it's a distance close enough for the cords to reach from the cell and the flow switch. So once they're screwed in, there's some holes on the back of the control box that can be mounted. Plug in to the main power, Australian plug. Then we need to plug in the cell cord at the bottom of the control box. Just bend back the safety lever. Then we need to plug in the flow switch, which just looks like a telephone line, into the hole like that. And she's ready to go. So now we need to set up the control box to operate the chlorinator. First of all, just open the weatherproof shield and press the on button. First screen that comes up is your chlorination dial. You can dial up or down to how much chlorine you want to produce from the salt. So during a busy swimmer period, you turn it up, and then during winter, for example, you would keep it dialed down. It is a percentage dial. Once you've set that, it just is a display of water temperature, volts, amps, salinity reading. The salinity reading must be between 3,000 and 4,000. It'll continuously check how much salt's in the water, and the cell will only produce chlorine when there's enough salt. Software, cell type must match the control box. This is a 20 gram per hour cell matched with a 20 gram per hour control box. Press again, set the clock, arrow forward or back to change the time, then the clock time is set. Next mode is the timer for the control box. This turns on the chlorinator and off the chlorinator the times you want throughout the day. You can do a maximum of 3 settings. So at the moment you've got timer off, you press the arrow down and it'll show set time 1, beginning, and then you set the time you want the chlorinator to turn on. Once that's set, press down again and it'll be set time 1, end. Then you set the time you want the chlorinator to end. Most people have their chlorinator running between 4 and 8 hours a day. Once you've set the time, press menu again and you're all done and ready to go. So here we are at a pool where we've got one of our chlorinators all set up, ready to go. And I'm just going to show you how it works. We've got our pump, our filter. On the return line we have the cell. So I'll just show you now. We turn the unit on. You can see here I've dialed the chlorine level to 70%. You can dial it down or up. The pump will start flowing and pushing water. This no flow button will flash red as the control box is registering a flow of water from the flow switch, and we need to wait. So you can see it flashing red. It'll take about 60 seconds. And then what will happen is the generate button will go green. It's registering a flow of water and that there's enough salt in the water to generate. So there we go. It's now generating. So here now we can dial up or down the chlorine. You'll notice if I dial right down, it'll end up not generating at all. There we go. And then right up you can go to maximum, but I'll choose 70%. So we'll run through the menu. Water temp, 17.1% degrees Celsius. Volts, amps, salinity. It's showing just over 3,000 parts per million, so that's why it can generate chlorine. It's a 30 gram per hour model. This is where we set the clock. Up and down. The timer's set for off. And we're back to the start again. You can super chlorinate. We've got a button here where it'll just set it straight to max. It's an easy button. And also just to check salinity, we've got an average of just over 3,000 parts per million. I'll just show you how to set the clock. Press menu until you get to clock. It's now 5:30. That's correct time. Press menu again. The set time is off. I press down to set a beginning time. So it goes up by 15 minutes. I'll ask it to turn on at 6 o'clock. Okay, so that's the beginning time, and just say I want it to run for 1 hour. Press down, and then time 1 end. I set it at 6 and I want it to finish at 7. There we go. Done. So that time is now set and the timer button shows here. When the timer's off, that means it's always going to be running. You can use this control box to run your whole filtration and pumping system. When the control box timers turns on, it turns on the pump, which then filters the water, and if you have a heater, it'll also circulate water through the heater as well. So your control box can be the brains of your whole system. Here we've got the no flow. It always takes about 60 seconds at the beginning to register a flow and register the salt content of the water. There we go. So now you'll see cloudiness will come through the cell window. You'll see the chlorine being generated. When this green button here is on, it means it's generating. So you want these two green buttons to both be on.